It's only a 5-minute countdown screen. Okay, we're live.
Testing
So
one,
now,
two.
yep. So we'll be recording here in a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and mute us on the image, and because this is going to be recording everywhere. So let me mute.
Three. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Test 1, 2.
It's coming through. It's nothing on your side, I don't think, huh?
Nothing's coming through the computer. Nope.
Let me think for a second here. So your screen is showing up, but not hearing your audio. Can you do me a favor and log out one more time?
Yep. Oh, now it says on the air. You're in the broadcast. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Sachin, can you hear me?
Yeah. You?
Testing.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, your audio is coming in. It's not coming in through my headset for some reason. So let me switch to Sachin. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Matt, can you test it?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
All right, we're good. I think I resolved it. Okay. Well, let me give us a couple more minutes to set up here. We'll just count this.
Nice job.
Yep. Hey, just really wanted to we'll just figure it out. We'll do our best to just ask good questions. Um, okay. Sachin, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Matt, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
My goodness, we've been doing technical deals, trying to figure out what's going on with our technical stuff here, but I think we've resolved it. And Matt and I had hoped to do a little bit more prep time and having conversations about you, Sachin, but we're going to just jump right in. So welcome to our first edition of the semi-finalist round of the YAY competition, the Young Youth Entrepreneur Award competition. Again, I'm Matt, and this is Matt Bowman, my partner in crime. Sachin, remind us, where in the world are you?
San Francisco Bay Area in Fremont, California.
Fantastic. Well, we are Utah for Matt, and then Houston, Texas for me. And so this half hour is going to be really kind of focused. What we're going to try to do is understand as much as we can about you, about your learning. Again, we're much more interested in the learning that comes from entrepreneurship than in if you've come up with the $1 billion idea. That'd be great, of course, but that's not our intention. And so, been very impressed in our conversations in the past, Sachin. So, what I would like to do is give you the floor for the next minute or two or three, and I'd like you to just give us your best argument about who you are, what you've learned, what you've built, and we'll start from there.
All right. Yeah, I have my pitch ready, so I'll start.
All right.
All right. Hello, everyone. Like I said, I'm Sachin. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm really excited to be here today, and thank you so much for this opportunity. So I have two businesses which go hand in hand. I have 3doshas.com, which is my company, and then the Ochakde show on YouTube. Right here, right here is my podcast. Three Doshas is an award-winning wellness and lifestyle company featured on Bloomberg TV. At Three Doshas, our mission is to help our members level up and boost their performance on our coaching platform. And then my second business, the Ochakte Show, is a revenue-generating podcast with many sponsors, is designed for teens, and I'm the host interviewing entrepreneurs and inspiring individuals from all walks of life so my audience can learn from their stories and level up themselves. So to summarize, Three Doshas is a coaching platform where young people can get the resources and tools to take their game to the next level and whatever they're interested in. And then the Ochakte Show is my podcast, and that's your young people to get inspired by notable people's stories of success. So some of the numbers, I'm proud to say that our coaching platform at Three Doshas, we have over 150 members, and we have offered coaching sessions on various topics such as leadership, finding a greater purpose, sustainable performance, mindfulness and the body-mind connection. And then for my podcast, I've reached 150,000 views in total. I've had the honor to interview remarkable and influential people like Guy Kawasaki, who's the former chief evangelist of Apple, Bracken Darrell, the CEO of Logitech, Evan Carmichael, a YouTuber with 3.59 million subscribers, Arnie Duncan, Obama's Secretary of Education, Anthony Trucks, an NFL player turned business coach, and David Meltzer, who's a sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor. This is not everybody. These are just some of my favorite people. And actually, I'm going to be interviewing a Shark Tank judge on Monday. So if you want to watch that episode, you got to hit the subscribe button on my podcast and stay tuned for that. So both my businesses.
Great plug, by the way.
Yeah. If you're wondering, so both my businesses are trying to like help the lack of access of coaching and mentorship for teens, and I'm really trying to inspire people as a role model. And I think you're going to say something, or sorry.
No.
Congratulations. That's exciting. Well done.
Yeah, I actually have a little bit more, so let me just do that, and then we can go for some questions.
Finish up. No
So I
problem.
know you guys want to talk about the learning, so let's talk about the learning. So some of my learning through entrepreneurship, I talked about this in the previous video that you guys posted on LinkedIn, the power of ask and then also going for it. So what I do to get all my podcast guests is that I cold call like executives, and then I build relationships with them to help me achieve my goals. The name of my podcast is Ochakte, and Ochakte is Punjabi. Punjab is a state in India. It actually means go for it. So I really like the name of my podcast, and that's why I named it that. And then I also learned that you have to be like consistent. And a lot of people say you have to be consistent, but you also have to be persistent. So for example, when I had an eBay business, I got scammed, but I didn't give up then and there. I kept at it and it worked out, which ultimately led me to resulting in making $10,000 at 13 years old. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. And I'm really excited to be here today.
Awesome. Well, Matt, any questions that prompt your mind? I've got one that really comes front and center.
Go for it.
Okay. So Sachin, you mentioned, and we talked about this, that you got scammed. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us what changed in you as a result of that scam.
Yeah, well, I was a really young kid, and I thought, hey, someone just put a like they want to buy this, let me just do it. And then like the money came on PayPal, but then somehow it just disappeared, and I already had everything ready. I'm like, Dad, Mom, we got to ship this out. I got my first person. This is incredible, right? And then after that, it's just like didn't work out. So we called eBay. They're like, talk to PayPal. Then we called PayPal. They're like, talk to eBay. I'm like, what is this? And then maybe some people were telling me like, hey, you're probably too young if you got scammed. Maybe you should try doing something else. But I'm like, this is what I love doing. I mean, I was able to take pictures of a product, write a description, do all this incredible stuff. I want to keep doing it. So I just said, hey, if I got scammed once, it doesn't mean I'm going to be scammed the next time. So let me just learn from this. So I did some research and I said, hey, you have to make sure the person has the right location. They have like reviews on them already as a buyer and all that type of stuff. So I learned from that. Then I just kept going and I didn't get scammed since then.
So do you think that scam was beneficial to you long term?
Yeah, definitely. If I didn't get scammed, I mean, some people would say, why would you say that? Because like you just like got scammed. But if you think about it, it's still learning. Like you're learning from a failure, turning that into a lesson. So definitely, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that. Tell me more about their business model, of both of them. What's the revenue generation model? Who pays? How do you earn revenue?
Yeah, so for my podcast, the Ojacte Show, I have a few sponsors, and those sponsors actually pay me anywhere between $100 to $300 per episode. So pretty much in my videos, I put a short like promo video for them, and I talked about what the company is and what they do. They pay me for that, and I've also gotten some. I'm going to be getting some funding from my podcast, and I'm going to be creating a home studio. So I'm trying to get equipment, and I'm trying to create stuff like that. And then for Three Doshas, my company, where I'm using the money that I'm earning from Ochakte to help all the stuff that I'm like spending for my business, Three Doshas, like the domain, the Wix platform, all that type of stuff. All the money I'm making for my podcast, I'm using that for my company. And yeah, that's what I do.
And how do you envision Three Doshas making money?
Yeah, so I currently we have like my dad's gonna be doing executive coaching in the future, and then we plan to do like courses that you can get, like paid online courses for people to learn from this ancient knowledge of Ayurveda and yoga.
So, and buy per course kind of model or a subscription, or what do you envision?
Yeah, subscription, we have some memberships, so like this much per month or that much per month or this much per year. We're still figuring everything out, but I think most of my money I'm making is through my podcast, and then I'm hopefully going to be making more money also through my company.
Got it.
Tell me, Sachin, a little bit more about some of the specific skills that you are learning through your entrepreneurship. You talked about the power of ask. Tell me about other skills that you're learning, tangible, marketable skills.
Yeah, I think pretty much what I said. I mean, the power of asking, going for it, but also with that, you have to do the work. Like I talked about that too. You have to put yourself out there. Like a lot of people don't. Like I have a personal website, attractday.com, where I put all my accomplishments, everything I've been featured in, all the cool stuff I've done. So you really have to be confident in yourself and just say, "Hey, I know who I am. I'm proud of myself. This is what I do. This is who I am," and put yourself out there. Because then when you reach out to these um, people that you want to interview for my podcast, they're like, hey, this is so impressive. Like this kid is doing all this cool stuff. I should be on his show to help support him. So yeah, just putting yourself out there, being proud of yourself, getting on LinkedIn, getting on social media. I know a lot of people say, oh, social media is bad. I disagree with that. Too much is bad. But I think social media is good in some ways where you can promote yourself and get people inspired through your story.
Matt, back to you. Any other questions?
What kind of skills and education and learning experiences would you say came with trying to sign up a sponsor?
That's a good question. I think so. People ask me actually, did they reach out to you or did you reach out to them? I'm like, unless you're some like huge podcaster, they're gonna reach out to you. But I had to do the work and reach out to them. So I sent them an email saying, hey, this is my audience, is teenagers from the Bay Area. I know your company is trying to also reach some of these people. Like I had a career platform for young people that paid me for some episodes, and they actually also paid me to. I got finder's fee money because they wanted to hire some high schoolers, and I helped them find people. So they paid me a good amount of money per person that they hired. So I think you have to, again, do the work. And I learned that you have to pretty much see how one aligns to the other and see if there's a match, then hey, you should be a sponsor and it'll work out.
So let me drill down on that a little bit to help hear some of the, again, learning skills. It sounds like communication skill was important for you to be able to articulate your idea in an email.
Yeah.
And also research skills around finding out what you thought those companies would be interested in, right? Where did you learn some of those things, and how did you put those into practice?
I think I learned that from just first reaching out to guests from my show, and I'm like, hey, if I'm able to reach out to guests and they're saying, yeah, let's do it, I'm down. Why can't I reach out to companies and do the same thing, saying, hey, do you want to be a sponsor? And if they say yes, it'll work out. So that's how I learned that.
How many times did you draft in your head that email before you sent it to your first sponsor reach out?
I kind of just write it and send it. I don't really think too much about it, but I review it a little bit.
All right, and it worked, huh?
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah,
One of the
good for
highlights
you.
of this, Matt, is also the skill of risk, of calculated risks, and learning from failure. So if that email that you sent if there was not a reaction to that, I'm guessing you would have pivoted and tried something else.
Yeah, of course. If they didn't get back to me, I would try reaching out to someone else.
So how many emails did you send before you got a hit?
I think, well, I sent one email for the first one and they said yes. Some of the people said they want to do like an affiliate program where like if it were like if they get someone pays for their thing, I get like a commission on that. But I'm kind of like, hey, I kind of want to just do a promo video and you just pay me for that. So I'm like, I don't know about this. Let me think about it some more. But it was actually one of the companies, which is a PR firm in Beverly Hills. They actually reached out to me because I know the founder and CEO because I've interviewed her. So she actually reached out to me. That was the one time someone reached out to me. But for the other one, like for this upcoming Shark Tank judge one, it's like pretty much people in my network. So sometimes it's people that I interview and I get those people because I know, hey, you have a company. So do you want to promote your company? You could pay me for that. So it was a few emails I sent, another some emails, and a lot of people want to do the affiliate model, but I'm like, I don't know. Let's just do the full promo video for the upfront payment.
I also wonder about. Have you heard the concept of the compounding effect?
No, I haven't heard of
Okay,
that.
so like when you're investing money, it builds slowly at first, and then eventually it starts to build on itself because it compounds to the point where it now moves to an exponential curve. What you're realizing in real time is every person that you talk to builds the compounding effect for future conversations, right? So if you talk to 100 people, the 101st person is going to be infinitely easier than the first person you called. And that sort of spins up. And so the more you do that, the easier these calls are to make. More likely they'll answer the question, your request, and the more likely they will start to call you, which I think is what you're now seeing. So that's fantastic.
Thank you.
How'd you decide what charge you would give to a sponsor? How'd you come up with the price level?
Yeah, so for the first one, I think I made it a little too less because I didn't know that. I mean, I don't think it was my first time doing it. So I'm like, hey, let's just do this small amount of money. And they're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. But then I realized that the second person that reached out to me, that actually came to me, they're offering me something much higher. So I'm like, wow, there's actually much more value in my show than what I'm saying that people should pay me. So I just kept making it a little higher and higher from there. And then people are like, yeah, I guess we could do this. And I'm like, okay, let's do it.
When are you going to stop? Are you just going to keep going?
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna keep going, and the more my show grows, I'm gonna get more and more sponsors, and we'll see how it goes. And then, like I said, I'm also gonna be trying to be creating a home studio where I get equipment like camera, lighting, microphones. I'm gonna transform a whole room in my house. So for the San Francisco Bay Area based people, they can like come in person and we can do an interview.
Nice. So I wanted to pivot. So we're in this conversation for about 15 minutes. Clearly, you were the type of young person who has the internal confidence to try things, to risk failure, and to put yourself out there. Again, the what was the name of your just do it? Wait, no, what was the name of the podcast? Go for it. Yes, go for it. So that's a skill in and of itself, and I'm curious as to where did that come from. Do you remember a time when you didn't have that that kind of trait, or was this something that you built or something you were born with? What do you think?
Um, I think maybe it's something I was just born with because I don't really like I don't have to think about like I don't I mean when I do my things, like I have strategy and I know what to do, but it's not like I think most people in my age they'll like work very hard to like, okay, I need to make it like this and then make it like this and make sure it's perfect and make sure the person says yes. And I need to do more research and research. But sometimes I don't really have a plan and I just go for it and it works out.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, my sense though is there's something you were given some freedoms that others may not have received.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'd like to get at some point, maybe in the conversation about your parents and what encouragement, what freedoms were given you to launch this sort of thing. And so maybe we can spend a couple minutes. Matt, you okay with that? Spend a couple minutes talking about that. All right. So tell me a little bit about how your parents reacted to this when you first started to experiment with, entrepreneurship. Tell me how they reacted to that.
I think my dad does sales and marketing as a job, so he's familiar with entrepreneurship. So I think he was like, "Yeah, this is pretty cool stuff. You should do it." And my mom works in biotech, so she was also like, "Hey, this is cool. You should do it." So I don't think my parents were ever like saying, "Oh, you should just." My parents are very different, to be honest. In my community, everybody wants their kid to just be perfect in school, get into the best college, do all these things. My parents just say, "Hey, just do your best, learn lessons, and have fun." So I think my parents, I love my parents a lot, and I think they definitely have given me a lot of freedom to just do what I want to do, but they also make sure that I'm doing it in the right way. Like I'm not doing like things that I shouldn't be doing and doing like, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Tell us about your education upbringing. What has been your schooling? You're self-taught in many things. Tell us about the balance between formal schooling and self-taught.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I'm definitely not a straight A student. I'm not anything like that. I just try to I just study the stuff, and if it doesn't go well, it doesn't go well. I'm doing all these cool things outside of school as well. But I do think that if I wasn't doing all the stuff that I'm doing outside of school and I was just not doing that good at school, that would be very bad for me. So I'm actually really happy that I'm able to do all these things outside of school because it gives me that confidence boost saying, hey, you know what, you might have not done it well on this test or quiz, but you're still doing all these cool things outside of school, which can help you in the future. So yeah, I mean, I I I don't take too many. I don't take any AP classes right now. I'm not doing stuff like that. So even though I'm in 11th grade, I might do some next year. I'm still figuring it out. But I just yeah, I think school will keep you a student. It won't necessarily make you an entrepreneur because it's like it's meant to like make you a worker. And there's nothing wrong with being a worker. I'm probably going to also have a 9 to 5 for a few years to get some money and then start using that for my business. But I think it's just like you have a teacher that tell you do this, do that. You say yes. You have to follow everything that the teacher wants you to do. I think there needs to be a change in the education system. And someone that I really look up to is Sal Khan, who's the founder of Khan Academy, who always talks about learning stuff at your own pace, at your own time. And I've actually worked with him a little bit on a startup called Schoolhouse.world. I thought that was something really cool. And I've also been tutoring someone who's actually in their 50s who's trying to get their high school diploma. There was actually a documentary made about that story, so that was super cool. There was like a whole documentary crew filming me inside my house. But he actually passed his math test a few days ago. So the whole community at Schoolhouse.world, just to explain it, Schoolhouse.world is a nonprofit for free tutoring over Zoom. So I met him in 2020, and since then we've been working and working with, and he's also been working with some other tutors, and he passed his math exam, his high set. So he has a few more subjects that he's gonna get his high school diploma. So I'm really excited for him.
Very
That's
cool.
super cool. And I was going to ask you about Schoolhouse to World .world. We use it in our program for students that we support, so it's a fantastic offering. Tell me about what you meant by working with Sal to do that.
Yeah, so I joined in July of 20. Wait, actually, before that, I didn't know you guys use Schoolhouse.world. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What did you guys like? What exactly did you do? Can you tell me more about that?
Well, you tell me your story first.
Okay, sure.
We're interviewing you, dude.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I joined Schoolhouse.world in July of 2020, and that was like the very early days. We were on a platform called Coda, where it's just like it's kind of like a Google Doc. So it was like very small in the early days. But because I was like able to help so much, I was able to join these calls with the group and Sal and talk about some of my ideas on how to make the platform better, how to like do more things for marketing, do more things for user support, and getting to more people. So because of that and all the work I did, they made me a founding tutor. So I'm happy to say that because of all the work they do, I'm actually a founding tutor at Schoolhouse.
Congratulations. That's quite an honor. Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is that's a great deal. So, so you've been entrepreneurial. So you said you're 17 now, 16. So you've been entrepreneurial for, I mean, we're talking for 3 or 4 years now. Um, so tell me more about you talked about school a little bit, traditional school, and and how would you feel if you were not allowed to explore these other areas in your world? Like, what would you feel like if you were told by your parents, no, you are going to go to college. This is the path. This is the only path for you. Like, what would happen in your mind if those were the limits placed upon you?
Hmm. Well, I do think unfortunately that is the reality of a lot of people in the high school that I go to. But for me, I probably wouldn't be a happy individual. I wouldn't really. I mean, I wouldn't be confident. I would just be like going with the flow, doing what everyone else is doing. I I probably wouldn't have a drive, wouldn't have confidence, wouldn't be able to go out there and just do things. But I hope that doesn't happen to people, and this is why I love what YEA is doing.
Hmm.
We agree with you.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Um, yeah,
I'll answer your question
Oh yeah.
around schoolhouse.world. So one of my businesses is serving students who learn best at home through the public school system. And so we're able to bring funding and resources to homeschoolers. And one of the exciting things that we have been tracking obviously as Khan Academy for many years. But when COVID hit and Schoolhouse.World launched, we immediately pushed that out to our families as a incredible opportunity to get access to free tutoring. And I think it's a fantastic vision, and I've always been impressed with what Saul has done and continues to do to impact the world's learning. So
Yeah, nice.
next time you chat with him, tell him thanks.
Have you interviewed Saul?
I haven't interviewed Sal, but I've been talking to his executive assistant. It might happen soon.
Nice. And then just another quick question about the schoolhouse. Is there an entrepreneurial pathway or a pathway for non-traditional learning, things like that?
I don't think there's like an entrepreneurship sort of thing, but I did do a session once on reselling on eBay, and I think I got a good amount of people to join that. But then unfortunately, I think that you're not allowed to like do stuff where you're like promoting like selling something, because if that doesn't work out, there's some legal stuff or something like that. But we could try seeing what we could do for that. That would be pretty sick.
Hmm. So tell us a little bit. So we've got about maybe 5 more minutes here. So tell us where you're going and what you would do with, a couple $1,000, in your pocket.
Yeah, so hopefully in the next like 3 to 5 years, I have. Well, let's see. Yeah, 3 to 5 years, maybe like 100,000 subscribers, or maybe 50,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And with the money, I would like use that money to help create that home studio, buy more equipment, and then I would also use it for Tridoshas, which I think once we get more and more people to join, we could also start doing in-person seminars where we like go and rent out places and do like speaking events. So I think I could use that money for that as well.
Hey, what advice would you give to the students you described as being trapped or discouraged, or they're in a box that they're forced into just preparing for college and they can't think outside of that? What would you tell them?
Well, I would tell them to like try new things and show your parents that you're doing it, but sometimes the parents will be like, "Hey, you can't even try these new things." So I think it's just like, I mean, I don't want to say like, "Oh, just finish college and then do whatever you want to do after that." You should start sooner than later. I don't know exactly what I would tell them, but I would say join clubs at school maybe that are whatever you're interested in.
So I'll pick up on that, Matt. What would you say to the parent of a child who was, essentially limiting their children around this? What inspiration or advice would you give to that parent to think differently about education?
I would probably say that you might have a fixed mindset. You should probably have an open mindset. So you should just like not know that like the only like if you took a path and that path worked out, that's not the only way that someone can do something. I mean, there's so many things that people can do, and there's so many ways that people have gotten successful. So just realize that like be open minded. Don't feel like that your way is the only way, because it's not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It might be though. It might work out. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like a lot of people could do what you do and they'll have a nice life. But if your child wants to do something else and they don't want to do what you're doing, then just let them be free and then see what happens, and they might become millionaires. You never know.
Right, right. Well, Sachin, we're going to start to close this down. Any last comments, Matt? Any last comments you want to make?
Just want to express how proud we are of you. You're doing a great job. Your vision of your life and future is solid. Very impressive. Keep up the great work.
And thank you so much.
If I could, and Sachin, we're going to give you the last word, but I'm going to add to Matt's comment. I want to thank your parents for giving you the flexibility to explore. And I also want to tell your parents that the skills you're learning around sales, around confidence, around understanding that the other person you're talking to has things they want and you're trying to help them get that, right? That's your mindset. That's what I've heard from you from several conversations. That skill is a lifelong skill, and it will pay pay huge dividends. So I just want to encourage your parents, for giving that flexibility, and for other parents that might be listening to this, recognize that what's possible in this young man is possible in lots of young men and women if given the freedom to do so. So with that, Sachin, you've got the last word. Anything you'd like to say as we start to sign off here?
Yeah, I do have something. I have it's like a saying or like a quote from my mentor, David Meltzer. I interviewed him. He actually, I was on his TV show, so I was on Bloomberg and Apple TV doing a pitch about my company. But he has a quote that says that you have to follow the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. And I really love that. It's like what I said in my pitch as well, consistent and persistent. I just love that.
Love it. Love it.
Well
Great.
said.
Well, Sachin, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for being part of the competition. And, next moves for us after we complete these semifinal interviews, which will be in late March. I'm sorry, mid-April. Mid-April, we'll continue. We'll complete them. We will notify the folks for the finalists. All right.
All right, sounds good. I'm excited.
Yep. Well, thanks for being a part, and looking forward to further conversations. Oh, last point. At some point, I'd like to get all of the folks who have applied together, virtually, of course, and begin to kick around ideas that you guys might have of how you might work together. I'm seeing so many of you all have overlapping skills and abilities. Who knows where this might end up going? So, looking forward to hopefully you guys.
Great group. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thanks, Action. There he is. Nolan, can you hear us? Oh, and I think I may have muted you. Let's see if I can get you unmuted. Okay, try now.
Hello?
Hey, Nolan.
Hey, Nolan.
Hi, how are
Well,
you guys doing?
great,
Doing
great.
great. Thanks. Nice to meet you.
Yep.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, yeah. So Nolan, so what we'll do is, we got 30 minutes or so, and what we'll start with is give you a little bit of a platform to talk about you and your work. Don't feel free to give shameless plugs and pitches for for your businesses, and then we'll spend the next 20 minutes or so talking about it and going a little deeper. All right. So Nolan, you have the floor. Tell us a little about you, what you're learning, what you're building. Go for it.
All right, yeah, for sure. So, hello everyone. My name is Nolan Buchanan, and I'm really honored to be a part of the Youth Entrepreneur Award competition. I'm 15 years old, and I live in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm currently running 3 businesses. So, the main business that I'm running is a pressure washing business. I also have an online university for youth entrepreneurs and a YouTube page just for entrepreneurs that I record kind of the behind the scenes things on. So, I would like to share my experience with you with my pressure washing business. I started it in September of last year, and I worked on it for about 2 months before the awesome Cleveland weather took over. So during the first month, I generated about $1,500, and this was without any paid advertising. Now I'm in the process of scaling my business to be prepared for the new season. And so far, what I've done with my pressure washing business is I've created an LLC. I've used a CRM or a customer relationship management software to manage my customers and finances. And I've developed a quoting system for contracts and scopes of work. And another thing that I've done is I chose pressure washing because I enjoy customer interaction and satisfaction when a job is complete. You know if the customer is satisfied if you're done with the job or if they're not satisfied. So you kind of know. And my customers are the age group that they're kind of in are just families that want to maintain their homes, but also improve the visual aesthetic of their home, but don't have the time or resources to do it. And the biggest thing that I've learned about my pressure washing business is the interaction with customers. I've learned during my pressure washing business that at the end of the day, it is all about the people and helping them. And since everyone is so different, it has led me to really listen and understand what is so important that I could help them with. Through these interactions, I have learned skills like sales skills, negotiating, and just how to manage finances in general. And these life skills are very important if you're trying to start a business. As I've started my businesses, I've failed many businesses, and overcoming them, you really need to learn a bunch of sales skills, negotiation skills, and life skills in general. And these skills really go through all of your business no matter what you're doing. So they really do help a lot. And I've exceeded my intended goals by scaling the business to way more than I had expected up to this point. And at the same time, I have added over 7,000 members in the first year in my online university business, which is basically just a community of entrepreneurs that come together to network and share knowledge and experience together. I have meetings about once a week with them, and we really just network and explain how our businesses are going. And we talk, finance, maybe how to improve sales skills. That's what we have done recently. And it's really just a fun time for entrepreneurs of any age. I've also grown my YouTube community by creating a authentic behind the scene video of kind of everything that I do. So I kind of show everybody what I do behind the scenes, how it works, and how I set up my equipment, how I interact with customers, and everything like that. So I'm really enjoying talking about what I learned from each of these businesses to improve them all and improve my ability to help others.
Awesome.
Nice work, Nolan.
Thank you. Matt, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. So really impressive work. Love to hear the different layers of pursuits you're doing. Yeah, I've got a bunch of questions. Let me start with capital. So where did you get the capital to start your pressure washing business?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And actually, I didn't really have any capital at all. And you may be wondering, how would you start a pressure washing business with no money at all? And what happened is I went to my grandparents' house, and my grandpa's the type of guy, he does everything on his own. He doesn't really hire people to, he was ripping out his floor and do it himself because he didn't want to pay someone. So, he's the type of guy to do everything himself. So he had a pressure washer laying around, and he said, "Hey, Nolan, I'm going to teach you how to do this today." So that's what he did. And he ended up letting me keep the pressure washer. So once I kept it, I was like, what am I going to do with this pressure washer? And I knew pressure washing was a very profitable business and a fun business to do. So I decided to start it. And that's really all I needed. I did get some extra capital with about $200 in my bank account that helped me, but that's about it with no paid advertising. So, yeah.
Very nice.
Excellent. That's true bootstrapping. Get the pressure washer from a investor called Grandpa. Love it.
Exactly. Yep.
Right. So tell us about your first, like a story about one of your first customers, something that that's memorable.
Yeah. So actually, my first customer, basically, when we were trying to advertise at first, we had no idea where to, pay for ads. We didn't know if yard signs would work, and so we were kind of experimenting with everything, right? So we first started on Facebook, and on Facebook, a lot of people, I live in a small town, so there's a lot of people who know each other and who love to support small businesses. So I always saw this as something that I could use to my benefit and advantage, and I took advantage of that. And what I did is I joined a lot of these retail groups and a lot of these Facebook and marketplace groups. And once I joined those, people would come after me, messaging me saying, "Hey Nolan, could you please take a look at my driveway or maybe provide me a quote?" And as soon as I got those messages, I would make sure to respond ASAP, and we would set up a quote. And actually, the first person that reached out to me to do it was actually one of the kids' moms in my grade at my school. As I said, I live in a very small town, and she wanted me to do her deck. And I didn't really have much experience doing decks at all. So, before I did the job, I had to research how to do decks. I actually experimented on my deck myself, and I took a little bit of discount off because I didn't have much experience. But that's really how I got my first client and how I started advertising in general.
Yeah. So again, I just heard research. I heard sales and marketing. Um, I heard negotiation because you didn't have much experience and you didn't want to. Yeah. So yeah, lots of skills that came from that first
Trial and error.
trial and error.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Hey Nolan, I have a question. You use the term we or we did this, or
Yeah.
tell me who else is involved in your business.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the team currently is myself and my parents. And what my parents do is they're kind of at the administrative level. My dad helps me a lot with the equipment, how everything goes, and we kind of learn things together, and that's really benefited me a lot. But other than that, I'm basically on my own, except for creating the LLC because they wouldn't let me create the LLC because of my age or open the business bank account. So as long as it goes to the administrative things, that's where they help me, and I kind of do the rest of the work. So,
Have you had potential conversations with other partners or employees that you would hire? Like, talk about growing a team.
yeah, so that's great. I've had a lot of people at my school, looking for jobs that are just in my grade, and they're working at places like Subway, Starbucks, getting paid not as much as they would if they would work for me anyway. And so I was thinking about offering them some jobs. It is a very long, it's not a very long training process, but you have to have some experience. So I would put them through about a week training myself, explaining to them how everything works, maybe give them a quiz on everything, and really just show them, how to approach a customer or client and how to deal with that. But other than that, I've actually had some other businesses, local businesses, reach out to me to kind of be suppliers for my business. If you're familiar with Sherwin-Williams, they reached out to me, and we set up a deal. I have a business account with them, and they're one of our suppliers as of now, so it's going great.
So have you had successfully someone else do a power wash on your behalf, or have you not done
Yeah,
that yet?
not yet.
Okay.
I have to get into the training part of it, and I really kind of like doing things myself as well. I
Yeah.
really enjoy pressure washing. That's why many people don't enjoy things. I don't enjoy landscaping, but pressure washing is just different to me because it feels like I'm getting paid for my time, and the money is worth the job, and I actually enjoy doing it. So it's a great business for me in general.
Cool.
Excellent.
Cool. All right. So you mentioned you started the LLC. You opened a bank account. You started you started using a customer relationship management program. And tell me about that, the CRM program. What program? How do you use it? Talk to me.
Yeah, so that's a good question. It's actually called Jobber, and I came through Jobber through one of my friends that owns a pressure washing business as well. As I said, I have an online university full of entrepreneurs who own multiple businesses, very high influence businesses all the way to starters. And one of my friends owns a six-figure pressure washing business in Philadelphia, and he has just been so useful to me and helping me with everything that I should be using as far as equipment, CRM, and the Jobber, the CRM that I'm using called Jobber basically lets me do quotes, get paid, send invoices, and kind of does everything that I need. So other than that, Jobber is just probably the best resource I've used so far for everything that goes for there.
Got it. So again, I think Matt, maybe as we do these interviews, we should restate some of the things that they're doing as some of the lessons that can't be taught very well. And so what I heard was you have a network and you're mining your network for information and guidance. That's what we all do. They're mining you. Others are going to find out information from you, but that community is going to help, and that's a hugely important piece. But then also now you're learning the different tools, and then using tools to advance and accelerate your business. That CRM tool is a tool that I never even heard about until I got into the business world, and I'm like, this would have been so helpful had I known it earlier in life and started keeping track of the people that were influencing and involved in my world. So this is excellent stuff. Good work.
Yeah, let me just add a question on the Jobber. Why weren't you scared to jump in and use something scary called a CRM at your age?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I'm just going to tell you something that happened to me when I first started pressure washing. So, as I said, I was getting into advertising and I didn't know where I should start: Facebook, paid ads, anything like that. So, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Angie's List. A lot of people know about it. And what happened is there's a bunch of different Angies for some reason. And I got a call from one of them saying that they could get me about 20 leads a month for kind of a small price. So I said, sure. And we actually signed a year contract of $3,200, which I got myself stuck in a hole. And basically, what happened is, all sorts of stuff happened. I got refunded and everything, but that was a scary experience for me because I got stuck in this hole by basically a scammer. And I, I've gotten to be very careful about it. And since my friend uses them and he showed me exactly how to run through them, I got tutorials, I got free trials. It really put the trust into me, and it's not really something I can get scammed on as much. So I knew that it could be very useful and beneficial to me because I've been using Google Docs and Google Graphs and everything so far for using it. So it is a very beneficial process and a great thing that I've used so far.
And what do you attribute your ability to have confidence in just jumping into tools? A lot
Yeah.
of kids are scared of. They actually don't know or don't have confidence to just figure out even Google Docs or forms or whatever. And now you're going into a whole CRM world. Tell me about why you think you had that confidence. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, it really just came from learning new things, because the more you learn new things, the more it kind of expands your ability to grow. And if you find something that'll save you a bunch of time, that's kind of playing a huge part in your time, because time is money. And the more time you have, the more experience you have, and there you go. So it just helps a lot, and it boosts my confidence when I see something I can take advantage of and use.
Do you feel like you gained those skills in a traditional brick and mortar classroom, or did you build those skills outside of school?
Yeah, there's no way I learned that in school at all. I learned everything online on YouTube, from networking, connecting. There's a bunch of local real estate meetings that I go to, and you might be asking why I go to real estate meetings, but it's to network with different realtors who are opening their own realty, and just networking and kind of introducing me to new things, introducing them to new things, and we kind of partner because I'm actually starting to partner with real estate agents as well, and the more we discuss, the more we build connections. And it's just something that you kind of need in order to progress, in my opinion. And yeah, YouTube's been a huge part of that. Everything's literally for free on there. Take a course. Investing in yourself is one of the best things that you can do when building a business as well, in my opinion. So that's definitely something I took advantage of.
Let's let's touch a little bit more. We talked about school a little bit. Tell me about your relationship with school generally. Matt asked about the learning. Where did that learning come from? Tell me about your relationship in entrepreneurship versus school.
Yeah, so in my opinion, I think you go to school to become an employee. And so it's really hard to get out of that system and get into your own mind. And really what started that spark for me is seeing other successful entrepreneurs on YouTube and Instagram and Discord progressing and actually making money that's not a 9 to 5. And there's nothing wrong with even a 9 to 5. Like my pressure washing business is my whole day, but I'm working for it to become something that I can kind of put to the side and still make money from. But really, uh, what really flickered it for me is, yeah, it was scary. Yeah, I didn't have much confidence, but I knew that there was another way out. I mean, you look at some of the richest people in the world, they didn't just get there from following school. Some of them don't even have degrees. And so you wonder, there has to be some other way that's right in front of us that you can get out of the system like that. And that's kind of what I'm taking advantage of. That's what I'm trying to take advantage of with my community. And that's what we're doing together.
Were you a good student?
No, no. I mean, I was a good student in the classroom, like, learning. I wasn't talking to anybody. I was kind of a quiet kid, but I wouldn't get good grades because I would always be researching how to do something, how to pressure wash, how to start up a business, how to boost your confidence in anything that you want to learn. Basically just investing in myself in the classroom. I wasn't really paying attention at all, but I was a good student, I guess. I just didn't really
Yeah,
follow school.
you weren't causing trouble, but you weren't
Yeah,
learning that much. I think that you just described most young people in school. They don't
yeah.
cause trouble, but they're really not there to learn. They're just kind of hanging out. So okay, um, can we transition into this Discord, this your coaching community?
Yeah,
How did
yeah,
that
for sure.
start? Tell me more about that. That's actually really interesting to me.
Yeah, so about last year, I was trying to find more people that had the same type of mindset as me. And as I was looking through my school, I didn't really see anybody else that was trying to start their own business. And if they were, it was something that they would put off and not really do and they give up on in, the first week. And so I knew there was some other way that I had to connect with people. And what I started to do is reach out to many high influential entrepreneurs on Instagram and YouTube. And first, I found about 3 to 4 people that I actually contacted with that have over. There's 2 people that have over 1 million subscribers that kind of work on gaming. So it's a bunch of different niches, but they all have this same type of mindset. So I figured I could start a group where we network with each other and we talk about our experience and how really we kind of expand our businesses ourselves and how the next steps to everybody's in different stages of their life, different stages of their business, but we talk about how we can improve each other and how we can come together as a community to learn and everything. And really what my Discord group and my online university is about is just networking and helping each other out and saying that you're really not alone. I know that's kind of a little bit cringy there, but you are not alone. I mean, there's a bunch of different entrepreneurs that are helping you through, and it's just a great place to be if you don't want to be in the traditional school system with everybody that's not as strong-minded.
And is that what's called Entrepreneur Olympics? Is that
Yeah.
phrase that? So why Olympics? Why'd you choose
So
that?
yeah, so I was trying to think of a name, and I didn't want to think of something just like I have also another university called Blinks University, which is basically the same thing, but I go ahead and coach people, on sales and everything like that, how I started my business. But really, what influenced me to think of Entrepreneur Olympics, I knew that it had to be a name where people know that it's just going to be themselves doing the work, but there's going to be help, and we have the same mindset. And Olympics, you're competing with everybody. You're competing with everybody. You're competing against other people, and in this case, it's other businesses and with other people. So you're competing to become the best version of yourself, the best version of yourself when running your business. So it's kind of like a video game. Many people be playing video games in my grade, like GTA 5, upgrading their character in the game. But what we're doing is upgrading our character in real life and actually progressing in real life and making the money in real time.
Love that.
Well done, Nolan.
Yeah,
Thank you.
love that.
What's the website for your Entrepreneur Olympics? Or is
We
it
just
just
have
Discord?
a Discord group as of now. Yeah, so it's just called Entrepreneur Olympics. It'll pop up anywhere. There's a code. It's just Entrepreneur Olympics or Blinksys. And I have a pressure washing website as well, which is blinksiswash.com. That's really the website we're working on. But we are also we're in the works of making a software for Entrepreneur Olympics and Blinks University. So it's kind of a lot of behind the scenes stuff I would post on YouTube. So that's where that comes into play as well. But it's a process.
Okay, so we've got about maybe 6 or 7 more minutes. Tell us where you're going. Like, what would you do if you got a couple $1,000s to invest in your business? Would you go out and maybe buy some new shoes or maybe a haircut? Because frankly, I like my haircut better than yours, dude. But anyway, like, what would you do with some cash in your pocket?
Yeah, so I actually have a haircut right after this interview. It's funny enough. But anyway,
Me too. No,
yeah.
me too.
Are you going
Anyway.
you're going Matt Barnes style, Nolan?
Exactly. I think I should go that route. It's too much money on shampoo these days. But anyway, what I would do with the money is I would invest more into myself and more into, as I said, my software and my pressure washing business and everything in general. I would invest into things that would make me more money and things that would help me, train others and coach others to the best of my ability as creating the software. So I'd be very smart about my investment, my money, not spending it on shoes or a haircut, but investing it in things that'll make me more money and investing in myself.
Uh-huh. Got it. Matt?
Tell me the advice, Nolan, that you'd give to younger teens around the world. What advice would Nolan give them?
Yeah, so the advice I would give to younger teens around the world is if you have a vision, you can break free from school. Even if your parents do not support it, there is still it's really just the mindset in general. Once I changed my mindset and I started to learn the truth of everything and how everything works, it switched for me. Like as I said, a lot of people just go with the flow. They think, banks don't create money. They think the money is just made from working, but the money is everywhere. It's an opportunity, and it's not just about the money. It's about having time to do whatever you want, and that's just something really important to me. You have to put in the time. You have to maybe not go to those parties some nights. You have to put in the work, and especially after school, because if you're working twice as hard as the other people, you're going to get more stuff done, and eventually you're going to make it if you keep working.
Well said.
Yeah, Matt or Nolan, can you tell me a little bit about what does it feel like to run your own show, to run and grow your own business? The emotional.
Yes. So running my own business at this age, it feels kind of weird because a lot of people don't take you as seriously as they should. Especially, I've said I've created an LLC, I've created the business bank account, I've already been making profit. I've been doing as much as I can as an adult would, and a lot of people wouldn't take you seriously because they don't really see you as someone that's graduated from high school, that's in college or successful. Because a lot of people, their parents tell them that going to college is a success. And in my opinion, it's not. You could be successful in many other ways. If you look at some of the most rich people in the world that didn't go to college and you say they're not successful, I don't really know what you're on, but I'm just going to tell you that success is not determined by the amount of school you go to. So that's what I would like to let them know.
Where did you gain that insight, Nolan? Honestly, like where did that mindset occur?
Yeah, so really just from networking with other people and from kinds of everything building up together. I didn't just start off like this. I started as thinking school was the way out, and now I don't. And every day I learn something new, whether it's about finances, skills in general, sales skills or negotiation skills. And something that I kind of wanted to say is, I had a buddy that is buying a car and he was looking to learn some negotiation skills. I recommended to him some great books and some podcasts. And, as soon as he learned those, he's like, man, thank you so much. I just saved about $3,000 from the dealership, just because I knew these negotiation skills and I didn't fall back and I didn't go to their price. And it's just really important. A lot of people don't take it as seriously as they should, but it is very serious and very, influential in the end. So.
And then also, I think we touched on it a little bit earlier, but give me a sense of your parents. Like, what's their level of support for this? Like, were they concerned? Were they immediately on board? How did they progress in this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, funny story. My brother, he is going to get his PhD at Toronto in Canada. He's school is the way out for him because he enjoys it. Like me, I do not enjoy it at all. I don't enjoy working those jobs for not as much money as I should earn. But he enjoys physics, so that's what he's doing. But really, my parents have supported both my brother and I in whatever we'd like to do. And as long as they see a vision with my vision, then they're paired and they're supporting me. And if I was just some kid saying I'm going to be a millionaire playing Xbox all day, I don't think they would be as supportive. But they could tell that I'm working every day and putting my all towards my businesses and making money. And not it's just I know everybody starts their business to make money, but in the end, it's to have time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. It's all three of those things, and finding the right business for all three of those is really successful, in my opinion. And my parents are great people that have supported me throughout everything.
Fantastic.
How old are you, Nolan?
I'm 15 years old.
Oh my goodness, you are brilliant, brother. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing that. Well said. Very insightful. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I've got lots more questions, Nolan, but we probably should start to close this down. So the pressure washing business, the Discord, the online coaching community, and then the YouTube, and really, really impressed by what you've learned. Matt, any last comments?
This is a theme that we keep hearing, but just touch briefly on how can you come back from failure? Like failure is such part of entrepreneurship. Just reemphasize what failure experiences you've had quickly and how you overcame it.
Yeah. So as I said before, I actually got scammed for the $3,600 1-year contract, which I was very scared of. I didn't know what to do at that point because first of all, that's way more money that I even had in my bank account at the time, and I didn't really know the next steps forward. I could have just quit my business. I could have just let my parents know about it, which they did know about. But I could be loose and just work a job to pay that money back. But I didn't. And kind of what changed that is that I still knew there was hope and I could be successful and that this was just a minor roadblock because in mostly every business, I would say there are many roadblocks in small minor things, even major things that will prevent you from where you're trying to go. And that's really part of the journey. The journey is a very fun place to be, but it also could be a sucky place to be at times just by things happening like that. And I got out of it, but in the end, it's just something you have to overcome to the best of your ability and keep moving forward. No matter what it is, no matter if it's something that you can get through, just like this money thing, it's just money. You could get through it by just keep working. And the more I kept working, the more that debt got paid and I got done and I finished. So the more you go through these roadblocks, the more you'll learn, more experience you'll have. And something that I've wanted to say is I've had so much experience talking with other people and clients and customers because it has helped me so much with negotiation and sales because I feel comfortable talking with the people and I don't get nervous. I actually feel great about talking to the people. And I kind of have a family. It is a family owned business, but I have a comfortable family feel when I talk to them. And that's something a lot of people like because something that I show on my business website is who's coming to your door when I'm doing the job, right? It's not just some random person showing up your door doing the job and you're paying them. It's me. You know who's doing it. You know exactly what the job's going to be. And that's why I have the CRM scope of work available and I have everything ready for them at any time.
It's a great path for a successful venture, brother.
Nice job, Nolan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, let's go ahead and close it up. Nolan, listen, thank you for your time. Really, I'm inspired. I hope the other young people who hear about you are inspired. I hope that, I'll just tell you, the other person we interviewed this morning, he also was scammed. These are like part of we all get scammed at some point and it makes us better or it causes us to quit. And so in both of your examples, you didn't quit, you kept at it, and as a result, you're much more aware, you're much more careful, and that's, again, another lifelong skill that's going to pay a lot of dividends over a long period of time. So anyway,
Exactly.
the next steps are we're going to get through these semifinal interviews through mid-April, and then we will notify folks soon thereafter about who's made it to the final list. and we'll invite you back on May 20th for a final conversation. So, Nolan, thank you. Please give your parents our gratitude, and would love to be involved with your coaching community at some point as well, if that works. Matt, in particular, is a wealth of resource. So, listen, more to come, Matt, Nolan, and looking forward to interaction with you in the future. All right.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Matt. As I said, everything's making you stronger, even the scam. So thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.